One guest had the whole chat cheering, and the other booed before they even spoke. Mafiathon 2 brought chaos, strategy, and unforgettable moments, but the guests stole the spotlight. Some were instantly loved, others stirred up so much drama, but fans are still not over it. Who was the fan favorite, and who became the internet's punching bag? From big brain plays to messy betrayals, let's break down the most loved and most hated guest of Mafiathon 2. You might be surprised who made the list. There is always that one guest everyone can't stop talking about, whether it's because they made you laugh until your stomach hurt, or because they made you pause the stream out of secondhand embarrassment. Mafiathon 2 had both. And when it comes to figuring out who was the most loved and the most hated, the contrast couldn't be clearer. Let's start with the one that brought chaos, Kodak Black. People could tell something was off from the second he entered the house. He looked out of it, and as the stream went on, things just kept getting weirder. One minute, he's mumbling to himself. The next, he's talking to the chat like they all wronged him. At one point, he even pulled out something mid-stream that had the viewers, including Kai, on edge. The energy in the room flipped. Nobody was laughing anymore. Instead of jokes or stories, Kodak started going on confusing rants and acting like he was in his own world. Viewers were spamming the chat, asking if he was okay or if the stream should stop. Kai tried to manage the situation without making it worse. But it crosses a line when someone starts threatening to hurt people or being flat-out aggressive toward the viewers. Things got so bad that the chat started turning on Kodak in real time. But instead of reflecting, Kodak took it personally and clapped back, calling people broke or emotional. It felt like he didn't care that he was on someone else's platform, someone who brought him in with good intentions. By the time he left, everyone was just relieved it was over. The vibe was heavy, and people couldn't believe how uncomfortable it had all become. Now compare that to someone like Kevin Hart, night and day. As Kevin pulled up on stream, the whole chat lit up. His energy was wild in a good way. He knew exactly how to keep things moving, joke without crossing lines, and vibe with everybody in the room. One of the funniest moments was when he started teasing Kai about being friend-zoned, stuff that could have felt awkward if anyone else said it, but Kevin made it hilarious. He didn't just entertain, he made the stream feel like a comedy special. Viewers were dropping comments like it was the best stream they'd seen all year. People weren't just watching for Kai anymore, they were watching because Kevin made it unmissable. And here's the thing, Kevin wasn't even done. He came back just weeks later and somehow topped his first appearance. At a time when people were still debating who the best guest was, Kevin just locked in his spot. It wasn't just about being funny. It was about understanding how to connect. He talked to the chat like he'd been streaming for years. He didn't try too hard. He didn't act like a celebrity above everyone else. He felt like one of the crew. That is why people still bring him up. He understood the assignment. Meanwhile, Kodak did the opposite. But Kodak wasn't the only one catching heat. Another name that stirred the pot during Mafiathon 2 was Quavo. Now, Quavo is a huge name, and you'd think his presence would instantly lift the stream. But nah, it was awkward from the jump. He pulled up like he didn't want to be there. His vibe screamed, "Why am I even here?" And instead of joining the fun, he started nitpicking. One of the first things he did was press Kai about how much his chain cost. Like, bro, this isn't Pawn Stars. Chill. But things got weird when they sat down to play Mafia. Everyone's settling in, learning the rules, and Quavo just out of nowhere tells DDG to sit elsewhere. Not politely either. He shoved him off the couch like it was his personal space in a high school cafeteria. The chat instantly caught it and started flaming him. It wasn't playful, it wasn't a joke, it was just rude. Even DDG looked confused like, did this man just push me mid-game? The internet wasn't feeling it either. People were calling out Quavo's whole vibe as off. Later, DDG explained that Quavo might have been too fried to understand the game. This is fair, but you shouldn't treat the stream like your living room. There's a difference between being chill and being disrespectful. Now let's flip the mood quickly, because nothing brings balance to a chaotic guest like someone who shows up, does their thing, and makes the stream better. NPC Miles Morales. This dude went from being a TikTok meme to one of the most loved Mafiathon guests ever. Dressed head to toe like Miles Morales, he committed to the bit so hard it was legendary. He pulled up acting like a video game character, repeating phrases, glitching out, and doing NPC dances. You name it. Kai was initially confused like, who sent this guy? But once the chat caught on, it was non-stop laughs. The man even read donations in full NPC style, like it was his job. And let's be honest, it kinda became his job. When everyone was asleep, he stayed up reading messages like a superhero with insomnia. But it wasn't just jokes and bits. Miles got real for a second. He paused the skit and talked about grinding, getting money, and pushing through hate. The chat went from laughing to spamming W's. You could tell he meant it. He wasn't trying to be deep. He was just being himself, and that's what hit him hardest. And the cherry on top? Miles was chosen as the best man during the streamer's wedding. The best man. Imagine pulling up to a stream as a TikTok NPC and leaving with that title. That's a flex no one saw coming. People in the chat said, nah, this man needs a raise and a sequel. From NPC to MVP, Miles proved you don't need a big name to leave a significant impact. And just when viewers thought it couldn't get more wholesome, the energy shifted again. Because out walked a man with more muscles than a Marvel movie, John Cena. Having John Cena on a Twitch stream sounds like a fever dream, but somehow Kai pulled it off. And the best part? They kicked it off by pretending no one could see him. Classic "you can't see me" energy, and the chat was dying. Phantom was staring at space like, where's John? Meanwhile, John's just standing there, waving like he's at a parade. But Cena didn't just show up to flex and leave. He dropped one of the most unexpectedly deep pep talks Twitch has ever seen. Bro started talking about purposefully living, chasing happiness and gratitude, which wasn't corny. It was real. It hit like your cool uncle finally sitting you down for life advice after years of dad jokes. Even the chat paused their memes like, wait, hold up, this is kind of fire. Then came Chris next door, who opened up about something super personal, going bald. Right there on stream, the man had a mini therapy session with John Cena about his hairline. And instead of roasting him, Cena gave him genuine advice. It turned from a bad joke to a bonding moment. The chat, of course, still made it hilarious, spamming W hairline and bald brothers unite. And just when you thought Cena was done, he joined in on Kai's weird stream lingo like phantom tax and glazing. It was like watching your dad try to speak TikTok, but he made it work. Seeing a wrestling legend laughing and vibing with a bunch of chaotic streamers? Unreal. Cena didn't just blend in, he elevated the whole stream while still being the biggest guy in the room.